Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, starts with a weather impact alert.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Reels, and thanks for joining us for our delayed version of the Fox 61 News at 10. We're going to be starting off tonight with a weather impact alert. It's snowing outside right now, in case you haven't noticed. We do have some school closings and delays that are going to be appearing at the bottom of your screen, so keep an eye out for that. And like I said just now, the snow is already falling outside, starting to cover the roads. But the real question is, will it really amount to anything? Joining us right now with the answer is meteorologist Deshaun Robinson. Deshaun, we had our eyes set for Punxsutawney Phil, what he was going to expect. 6 more weeks of winter. It hit immediately.
Yeah, coincidentally, he predicted 6 more weeks of winter, and we're dealing with snow tonight. Now, by the time all is said and done, most places will pick up 2 to 3 inches of snow. Light snow will persist into midnight. There could be some patchy freezing drizzle. As you wake up for work and school tomorrow morning, again, the morning commute is likely to be rather slick and slushy, so definitely be careful as you head out there. And also, patchy fog is possible as milder air moves in from the south. So we have this clipper system that is pushing through the region. This is a quick hitter. By midnight, the snow is likely to wrap up. So light to moderate snow is currently falling across much of Connecticut, some heavier bands near the New Haven area, and some of these could drop 1 inch of snow per hour. So visibility has been reduced out there. So if you are traveling, definitely be careful. Visibility is down to 1 mile in Chester, 3/4 of a mile in Hartford and Meriden. Now, snow will persist into 1 a.m. and by the time we get into the morning commute, drier conditions will move in, mostly cloudy skies, and again, prepare for a rather slushy commute. So 1 to 2 more inches is possible across much of the state by the time all is said and done. Monday will be a mild one with our high temperatures topping out in the mid-40s. Coming up, I'll let you know how the remainder of the week is shaping up. Back to you, Stefan.
Thanks, Deshaun. And officials with the NTSB say flight recorders are expected to shed a lot of light on the deadly plane crash near Reagan National Airport. Last Wednesday, an American Airlines passenger jet collided with an Army Black Hawk helicopter in midair over the Potomac River. 67 people were killed, 3 in the chopper and 64 more on the plane. So far, the remains of 42 of those victims have been found. The helicopter has been removed from the water at this point. The NTSB says flight recorders from both aircrafts have been recovered, and the information they contain is now being analyzed.
At 8:47:29, the crew received a 500-foot automated call-out. At 8:47:39, a radio transmission from the tower was audible asking Pat 25 if the CRJ was in sight. 1 second later, the crew received an automated traffic advisory stating traffic. At 8:47:42, a radio transmission from the tower was audible directing Pat 25 to pass behind the CRJ. At 8:47:58, the crew had a verbal reaction, and FDR data showed the airplane beginning to increase its pitch. Sounds of impact were audible about 1 second later, followed by the end of the recording.
Now, you just heard them talk about the Pat 25. That actually refers to the helicopter. The NTSB says the crews of the 2 aircraft would not have been able to hear each other's transmissions. And families of the victims killed in the deadly midair collision visited the crash site today. Dozens of people walked along the banks of the Potomac River near the airport. Families arrived in buses with a police escort. They laid flowers and many other things like pictures to remember those lost in the tragic accident. And now on to Philadelphia, where the National Transportation Safety Board is leading another investigation into a deadly plane crash. 7 people died and 19 others were injured when a medical transport plane crashed Friday evening in a commercial area of Philadelphia. An air ambulance was carrying a child patient and her mother along with 4 crew members. All of them died in the crash, and they were all from Mexico. The 7th person killed was in a car when the plane crashed. The young girl had just been treated at Shriners Children's Philadelphia. The plane crashed shortly after takeoff. And yesterday, the National Transportation Board chair reassured the public that the department is prepared to handle the investigation.
So I want to stress this was a high-impact crash, and the plane is highly fragmented. There is a substantial impact on the entire community. The debris field extends 4 or 5 blocks. And I do want to stress that this is an active investigation scene. The debris is scattered. It is very dangerous.
Now, most of the people injured have been treated and released. Air traffic controllers say they didn't hear anything concerning before the crash. At the moment, the cockpit voice recorder has not been found. And 5 people are in the hospital after a house fire in Waterbury this morning. Fire crews first got to the scene on Gale Drive around 2 a.m., where they saw a massive fire that pushed out from the front of the home. Now, despite some water supply issues with the nearby fire hydrants, the team rescued 2 adults and 3 children from the fire before it was eventually put out. All 5 of them were taken to a local hospital, along with 1 firefighter that has since been released.
It was hard to make entry. They made an initial attack, and then we went defensive after all the residents were accounted for outside.
Now, there's no word yet on how the family is doing, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. A lot can change in 15 years. Since 2010, we saw the end of the Iraq War. America went through 4 different presidential elections, and the world endured a shutdown during the pandemic. But over those 15 years, the people of Middletown have been remembering, mourning, and healing from the loss the community suffered when the clean energy power plant exploded one fateful Sunday.
We all responded. We were here. The feeling never goes away driving up River Road.
Almost a spitting image of the overcast day 15 years ago. The Middletown community rallies together in honor of the lives lost during the clean energy plant explosion.
Husbands and fathers working on a Sunday, gone literally in a flash.
The day, February 7th, 2010. Clean energy workers were using natural gas to clean pipes at the plant when a welding torch caused a pool of gas to catch fire and a massive explosion to take place. The blast shook the ground for miles and the city for years to come. 6 people were killed and 26 were hurt.
Peter Shapulis, Ron Crabb, Ray Dobratz, Ken Haskell, Roy Rushton, and Chris Walters left us with thoughts of their happiness and kindness towards others.
15 years later, the memory of those lost souls is remembered here at this memorial, where leaders every year vow to carry on the legacy of those workers so no more lives will be lost.
We mourn, but we fight like hell for the living.
A fight that continues to carry on 15 years later, especially with recent changes in the industry fueled in part by the new presidential administration. Retired Union Health and Safety Director Kyle Zimmer says the future of their rights is in jeopardy.
The new administration coming in, stripping our rights as workers, men and women, both in construction and general industry. It's horrible. The National Labor Relations Board, the NRLB, is gone. Right now is a big call for fighting for our rights, for the rights of the young men and women coming into the trades. We need to keep everybody safe.
After the blast, federal investigators found more than 100 violations at the plant, and in addition, the state banned the use of natural gas to clean pipes. And check this out. 4 people are recovering tonight after this accident. First responders say they responded to the crash involving a car and a van on Toddy Hill Road this afternoon. Everyone was taken to the hospital and treated for their injuries. No word on how they're doing right now. And for the latest information on all the stories we were talking about, scan the QR code you see on your screen and download the free Fox 61 News app, or just head on over to fox61.com. The newly implemented tariffs from the Trump White House is drawing quick responses from all of the countries involved. Canada, Mexico, and China threatening to put their own taxes on American exports. The situation now threatening to boil over into a full-blown trade war, though the president insists it's in America's best interests. Lucas Tomlinson has the latest.
Swift reaction this weekend to Trump's new tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China, with those countries now firing back with levies of their own. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announcing new 25% tariffs on more than $150 billion worth of American products, while making it clear that was not his first choice.
If President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us.
Trudeau and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum spoke on Saturday, though there's no indication the two leaders are coordinating their responses. Mexico has threatened tariffs of their own, but hasn't offered specifics. A trade war could devastate their economy. The U.S. is by far their most important market. China vowing to take corresponding measures, but hasn't said exactly what they will look like. Trump says the tariffs are meant to punish all three countries for the flow of illegal drugs and migrants into the United States. Most Republicans so far are backing him up.
I am glad we're putting everybody on notice that the old way of doing business is over.
But economists fear they will raise prices and send the stock market spiraling. Democrats say Americans will soon feel the impact in their wallets.
Higher prices for energy, higher prices for groceries. You'll start to see it within the next couple of days.
And that was Lucas Tomlinson reporting. Now, Trump acknowledged on Truth Social prices could rise, and the new tariffs go into effect beginning Tuesday. U.S. Representative Rosa DeLauro responded to the news of a possible trade war. DeLauro said in a part, quote, "I oppose President Trump launching a trade war with Canada and Mexico, who are already retaliating. It will be a blow to the middle class, working people, and the vulnerable," end quote.